The sun hung low over the vast African savanna, casting long shadows across the golden grasslands that stretched endlessly toward the horizon. The air was thick with the scent of dry earth and acacia thorns, a deceptive calm broken only by the distant calls of birds and the rustle of wind through the tall, swaying grasses. It was in this serene landscape that nature's brutal drama unfolded, a scene that would test the boundaries of instinct, courage, and compassion. A bone-chilling roar shattered the silence, echoing like thunder across the plains. It wasn't the familiar growl of a lion, but something primal and guttural, a sound that sent chills down the spine of any creature within earshot. From the underbrush erupted a massive African rock python. Its body, thick as a tree trunk and spanning over 20 feet in length, moved with terrifying precision. Scales glistened in the fading light, mottled brown and olive to blend seamlessly with the terrain. This was no ordinary serpent. This was an apex ambush predator, evolved over millennia to crush its prey in an unbreakable embrace. Its target, a pregnant lioness, her belly swollen with the promise of new life. She had been grazing near a small waterhole, her movements slow and deliberate under the weight of her unborn cubs. In an instant, the python lunged, coils wrapping around her midsection like a living vice. The lioness let out a desperate, piercing cry, a mix of pain and fury, as the serpent's muscular body tightened, squeezing the air from her lungs and threatening the fragile lives within. Her swollen belly compressed under the pressure, each constriction risking the cubs that could secure her pride's legacy. Claws, capable of shredding the toughest hides, scraped futilely against the python's armored scales, leaving only thin lines of blood. Her golden eyes, once fierce and commanding, began to dim as oxygen deprivation set in, her roars fading to weak gasps. The savanna itself seemed to hold its breath. The wind died down, as if in reverence or horror at the unfolding tragedy. Birds fled from nearby trees. Distant herds of zebras paused, ears pricked in alarm. The pride's future teetered on the edge of oblivion. Just yards away, 3 towering male lions, the lioness's sworn protectors, thundered onto the scene. These were no ordinary males, magnificent brothers with dark manes flowing like royal capes, their bodies scarred from countless battles. Together, they ruled this stretch of land with unmatched dominance. Their growls rumbled like approaching storms, deep and resonant, vibrating through the ground. Manes bristling, muscles coiled, they formed a tense circle around the entangled pair. But inexplicably, they stopped short. No charge, no immediate assault. Their hesitation hung in the air like a mystery, defying their fierce reputation as unstoppable guardians. Why the pause? Was it fear? Fear of the python's alien strength, its coils capable of crushing bones to dust? Or something deeper, an ancient instinct warning them that a reckless attack could harm the very lioness they sought to save? The brothers paced restlessly, eyes locked on the struggle, massive paws digging into the earth. The largest, a battle-hardened veteran with a notched ear from a hyena skirmish, let out a frustrated huff, his amber gaze flickering between the serpent and his mate. Into this frozen chaos burst Ranger Ethan Hale, a seasoned wildlife guardian with sun-weathered skin and eyes sharpened by years of patrolling these wild expanses. He had been tracking the pride from afar, his battered jeep parked a short distance away after spotting unusual signs, disturbed grass, and a faint trail of scales. Armed only with a sturdy wooden stick grabbed in haste, Ethan crashed through a cluster of thorny acacia trees, heart pounding like a war drum. Before him, The horrifying tableau, the lioness weakening, her flanks heaving in shallow breaths, the python unrelenting, its cold eyes unblinking, and the lions locked in their shocking standoff. Ethan's mind raced. He knew the rules: never interfere with nature's brutal laws. The savannah was a realm of raw survival, where predators and prey danced in an eternal cycle. Intervention risked disrupting balance or costing human lives. Yet this wasn't just any lioness. She was the sole matriarch of an anomalous pride, an exception to lion society. Here, this lone female was the heart, the glue binding three devoted males. For years, Ethan had watched her struggles, failed conceptions, rivals circling, the pride's future hanging by a thread. Then, a miracle: pregnancy. It transformed everything. The males, once nomads, became relentless shadows, patrolling her every step, fending off hyenas with slashing claws and thunderous roars, chasing away encroaching lions. Ethan had documented it all, from hidden blinds, marveling at their bond. This litter could revitalize the pride, ensure its legacy. Now, as the lioness's body grew limp in the python's coils, Ethan felt a surge deeper than protocol: compassion. A paternal instinct, perhaps, honed from his own life as a father. Clutching his stick, pitiful weapon though it was, he made a reckless choice. Ignoring the voice of caution, he charged, not directly at the python, but in a wide arc, calculated to shift the dynamic. The lion's eyes snapped to him instantly. Their growls deepened, a warning rumble that vibrated through his chest. Ethan had become the intruder in their domain. Waving the stick high overhead like a spear, he let out a raw, primal yell, a guttural shout of desperation. "Come on, move," he bellowed, though he knew they couldn't understand. His goal: to become a diversion, a spark to break the standoff. The air crackled with tension. The lions watched, muscles twitched. Ethan's heart hammered. One wrong move, and he could be their next target. Then, timing precise, he struck. A sharp blow to the python's exposed tail. Not to kill, not to maim, but to provoke. The impact was like striking stone, yet it broke the spell. The largest male lion erupted with a roar that shook the savannah. Pure rage, he launched himself at the python, massive paws slamming down, claws ripping scales, blood spilling dark on the grass. The brothers followed in a whirlwind of fury. One clamped his jaws around the serpent's body, shaking violently. The other raked its coils with long, tearing gashes. The python, besieged on all sides, writhed in chaos, hissing, striking, thrashing. Dust rose in choking clouds. Blood mingled with the dry earth. The lions fought with everything, but they tired. Their attacks slowed. The lioness remained trapped, her breaths shallow, fading. Ethan's desperation peaked. He ripped a canister of pepper spray from his belt. Last resort, dangerous, but the only option. As the python's head reared back to strike, Ethan lunged. A sharp, targeted burst into its eyes. The effect was immediate. The serpent convulsed, blinded, hissing in agony. Its coils loosened, muscles spasmed uncontrollably. With a final thrash, it slithered away into the tall grass, vanishing like a nightmare at dawn. Silence fell, heavy, haunting. The lioness lay still on the bloodied ground. Her flanks barely moved. Ethan feared the worst, but then the largest male stepped forward. His mane framed a face softened by concern. Gently, he licked her face, a low rumble of reassurance. The others pressed close, forming a living shield. In that moment, Ethan understood. Their hesitation hadn't been cowardice. It was fear, fear of harming her or the cubs. His act had given them clarity. Kneeling at a safe distance, Ethan radioed in, voice steady despite the crash of adrenaline. "Dispatch, this is Hale. Pregnant lioness down. Critical condition after python attack. Need evac and vet team. Coordinates incoming." As he administered a sedative to stabilize her, hands trembling but precise, an unspoken truce bound man and beast. The lions watched warily, but without aggression. They recognized his role in her survival. The savannah exhaled. Birds returned to their perches. The wind whispered through the grass. In the days that followed, under veterinary care, the lioness recovered. She gave birth to 4 healthy cubs, 2 males, 2 females, who would grow to strengthen the pride. Ethan's act, though against protocol, became a whispered legend among rangers, a testament to how compassion can bridge the wild divide between species. This story proves that bravery and empathy know no boundaries, even in nature's harshest arenas. The pride's legacy endures, sparked by one man's courage amid chaos. Which moment hit you hardest? The lion's hesitation, Ethan's daring strike, or the tender aftermath? Share below and subscribe for more stories of bravery and hope in the wild.